Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another Entertain Link spoiler talk. Today we're going to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And Raven can't even get her stuff ready.
Talk about me right now.
This is going to be complete spoilers, guys. I know, obviously, you know that because of the title, but some people are weird. So just letting you know, we're going to go all in with Guardians of the Galaxy. But first, we have a sponsor this week. We have a competition, guys. Listen to the end of the podcast. We have a competition. This week, we teamed up with VRGoGo, the online ticket marketplace for buying and selling tickets to all live events. The good folks at NYFC are giving away 2 tickets to watch the NYFC versus Philadelphia Union at Yankee Stadium on the 14th of June.
Oh, that's cool.
To win these tickets, you have to answer the question at the end of the podcast, and the tickets will be sent to you. So keep listening, guys. If you're any soccer fans out there, you can win some tickets to NYFC versus Philadelphia Union. But first, we're going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2. Overall consensus, we loved it, right?
Yes.
Anyone didn't love it because you didn't get out? Just so you know, get out
Before we proceed.
we proceed.
Also, you should also know that we're no longer friends.
No longer talking to you. So, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we're going to break it down from the very beginning about why we loved it and all the things that we loved. So, it opens up with a prologue. We finally see Kurt Russell as his father in the 1980s, getting on with his mother, introducing that. I first thought that was de-aging, like CGI.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like they did with
See, but I was looking and I was like, that's the best they've ever done. And I was like, it just looks like him, but shave-faced.
Because it was him.
But it's hilarious. That's the best thing about it, is that, like, that's his face.
Yeah.
Like, good for
they
you,
just added
Russell.
makeup to him.
They just put a little extra makeup on him, shaved his face, and dyed his hair. It's done.
And what I love in that opening scene.
I loved his hair. It was so 70s.
Having watched that movie again, what I loved in the opening scene is that it foreshadows so much. Because when he plants the plant, he's
but even the song.
Yes, even the song, I'm a spaceman.
Yeah. I've been listening to the song all day.
Yeah. Like, it foreshadows so much, where it's like, he plants the plant and then he says, oh, one day this is going to be everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that. Yeah,
but it's funny because it's in the song. My love is the sea. It's like this whole thing, and then he literally says the lyrics later, and is like,
and even says this will be
your
everywhere.
mother is the sea. It's like, wow.
I love that. And then after that scene, it jumps to, we see the Guardians fighting the big monster, because the Sovereign, a group of aliens known as the Sovereign, they hire them to protect the batteries. What is Peter calls them some random battery name, and then Drax says the Mara batteries.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, and he's like, that is not the name.
That is not the name. So I love that scene. One of my favorite parts of the scene is when in the openings,
the opening credits are fucking fantastic.
Where Groot
the opening credits are amazing.
Starts the music and starts dancing.
Because that was the thing too. Like, I had said that too when I came out of the movie. I literally could have watched 2 hours straight of just Groot dancing. Like, I would have been perfectly fine with it. And that opening scene, if I would have went out for it, I do.
Perfect.
Actually, my fun fact about that, for all of you that knew and loved Baby Groot's dance moves, that's actually the director James Gunn.
He's one of the motion capture.
Yes, the motion capture for it. So that's actually him. It's hilarious. So it's funny because Batista actually spoke about it, where he was like, he did the Baby Groot dance at his wedding. And he was like, that was the highlight of my wedding. And then, like, James Gunn talked about it, and he was like, yeah, he was like, when I got up and did it, it was crazy because everybody else joined me. He's like, they even did the turnaround look. He's like, it was amazing. And Batista was like, oh, it was the highlight of my wedding.
I love that moment with Batista, mentioning Batista, because it calls back to the first film after credits, when Groot's dancing and then Drax looks at him and he freezes.
Yeah, looks at him.
So he does that again in this film.
That's right.
The whole film, he always stops dancing.
And he stops dancing and Drax looks at him. And this opening has some funny jokes where Peter complains that Gamora is using a gun instead of a sword. He's like, I thought that was the gun guy.
Yeah, I thought guns were my thing.
But we're not going to get into it.
And
that was pretty funny.
Drax complaining that he doesn't wear the armor because it chafes his nipples.
Yo, that was so funny,
It hurts my nipples.
And then at the end,
my
like,
nipple.
when he... Yeah, exactly. I thought I was the only one that caught that.
My
like,
nipples.
I was literally rolling with laughter when he said that. It took off.
It's so funny. And I also liked when, because I've had my whole list of what I like. When I like that this starts showing you the kind of parental figures they are to Groot. Because like they're having this epic battle in the background of Groot's dancing, and then Gamora's like, Groot, get out of the way. And then Groot waves at her, and she's like, oh, hi. Like, she's like, aw.
Yeah.
I love that. I also love this beginning part where Rocket speaking to the Sovereign says, "Oh, they told me you people are conceited douchebags," and then he winks.
He really took it there.
It was the best.
And he's like, "What? Did I use my wrong eye?" I didn't again, did I? He didn't realize that saying the word douchebags.
Yeah, right. Not about saying douchebags, the wrong eye.
Yeah, it's like the wrong eye is the issue. He's like, if I wink the correct eye.
I even love the flirt scene too between because like I felt like it was just enough to remind us like, oh yeah, this is the same guy from the first movie.
Yeah.
Because like towards the end of the movie, Peter changed so much that you forget that he was that guy sleeping with aliens and you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like his dad.
You forget that, exactly. You forget the fact that there was a chick stowed under his fucking spaceship in the whole opening scene of the last movie. So it's like in that moment when he's flirting back and forth with the queen, whatever the fuck her name is, I was like, oh yeah. I love you, Peter. Yeah. Like, he's the best. Yeah, and then he's like, I hope you know it didn't mean anything.
And then from there,
I wasn't flirting at all.
I wasn't flirting.
When he's like, yeah, one day you can teach me the old ways.
Yeah, he was like, I would.
Pretty disgusting, but I'll do that for you. And so then we we're introduced to Gamora. I mean, not Gamora, to Nebula, and because Nebula, the Sovereign had her, and then the Guardians take Nebula. And they get on the ship, and this is where Peter and Drax have a conversation. And Drax says, there's dancers and people who don't dance. And he's like, my wife, she never danced to any music. She won't tap her toes, won't move her head.
Dying.
People thought she was dead.
I had to know her.
She was dead.
She was dead. Yo, so good.
Yo, Batista got the best one-liners.
He's the best.
And then so the Sovereign attacks, and then I love when Peter,
you need to find someone pathetic like you.
And the Sovereign attacks them, and Peter says something to Rocket, and he's like, I was being sarcastic, and Rocket's like, you have to say the sarcastic voice. No, I look like an idiot.
You have to do it in the sarcastic voice. I did.
He's like, I'm going to put a turd in your thing when you're sleeping. It's going to Drax's turds. It's like,
I know to be taking turds. Like,
my turds are notoriously
enormous.
Famously huge turds.
Famously huge turds. Like, yeah.
And that's when we introduced to one of the ongoing jokes about the ripe fruit. It's not ripe yet.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
I loved that. Cool Everyone kept throwing it at our hands too. Smack. It's not ripe. And I love it because it's so funny because that's the thing. And it so shows Nebula as a character because literally everyone's trying to look out for you. Like, no, it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't malicious. No one was like, you can't eat because we're trying to starve you. It was, no, you can't eat it because it's not ready.
Not yet.
Like, regardless, it's not ripe. Like, whether we wanted to give it to you or not is not a factor right now. It's not ripe. So it's fine. And she's taking it as, all of you are keeping the right, all of you are keeping fruit from me. You're trying to starve me. Exactly. And it's like in the end, I love it when she takes the bite too. Yeah. It's such an epic moment.
It's like, oh,
it's not right.
It's like, I've been wrong all along. Fuck.
Because even Drax is like,
but I love that it ended up basically being a continuing theme though. Yep. You know what I'm saying, with her character, and it's kind of the best too when you think about it in terms of storytelling, where pretty much everything that we saw character wise, especially in the beginning of the film, all of it came back. Even Nebula, like whatever, we'll get there.
So going forward, the
we'll get there.
The Sovereign attacks them, and then they get saved by some a 1-inch man on a
1-inch man.
It's like, that's not how eyesight works. They crash down on the planet.
But up close, he was probably much bigger.
Yeah. That was really funny.
They crash down on the planet, and I love what Drax just loves. Like, yes, that was amazing.
Yes.
Yo, his laughter is so funny. Yo.
Yes.
And one of my favorite lines is when, because they crash land because Rocket and Peter, they can't make up their mind who's flying the ship. And so when they crash, Gamora's like, either one of you could have landed safely. If you were using the brain between your ears, not the brain between your legs. And then Peter's like,
really smart, right?
Everything between my legs had a hand. Oh, I could have definitely landed that shit.
Exactly. I would have landed the shit out of it.
And then it cuts to Yondu and the Ravagers on the Pleasure Planet. We had sex bots in the Marvel movie, guys.
Yeah.
This movie was like really adult on the low.
Was dark as
for Marvel.
I know.
Like out of any of the Marvel films, even the ones that were supposed to be the darker films, like this one went really there. Adult. I was like, oh shit. Because I felt like from the very beginning, it was like, this is not a kid's movie.
No,
it's not.
And that's what I realized. Like, I felt like the first one was very, like, kid appropriate and everything like that. And I feel like for people going in, watching the second one, especially bringing in kids thinking this is the same film, like, ooh, I feel bad for y'all.
Even the cursing was, like, brought up.
Yeah.
They cursed the entire film.
Shit,
like,
douchebag.
Yeah.
Like, did they say bitch?
I think so.
They had to have said
think
bitch.
Nah, they definitely did.
They said
At one
bitch.
point, yeah.
But no,
said
I this idea of sex bots, where it's like when you're done, they switch themselves off, things like that. Like I thought it's really
Crazy, yeah.
interesting, and that's where we get introduced to the idea that some of the Ravagers think that Yondu is going soft. So that's the beginning of the mutiny that ends up happening, and we're introduced to Sylvester Stallone as the person, one of the leaders. Oh, because the Ravager, we're introduced that there's factions of Ravagers, and he's one of the leaders. He's one that brought Yondu on. And,
Starhawk.
Yeah.
yeah, Starhawk.
Well, the character he's supposed to be a Starhawk.
Another
They
fun
changed
fact.
it. Yeah, this is a fun fact of mine. So, what is his name in the movie? It's Star Aravak something. Either way, in the actual comic books, his character is Starhawk, and he was one of the original
Guardians.
members of the Guardians, like the 1969 team. Along with
60s.
Yondu, actually, Yondu was part of the original Guardians of the Galaxy team. He was not opposing force. He wasn't an antagonist at all. So yeah, this film, like,
And at this scene introduces the fact that Yondu was exiled.
yeah,
For
Dealing
getting
in children.
child trafficking, and then
that's
we
the
learn-
one thing they don't steal.
Yes,
they have
they
their
have a code
codes.
of
Yeah.
honor. And one of the funny parts is when the Sovereign arrived they don't want to walk on the ice,
Oh, that was
and they're rolling out the carpet.
so extra.
It's like
So
so
ridiculous.
bougie.
And when it like messes up, but also
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, the best way to get back at them ever would be when the queen goes to walk and do all that shit. Because I'm thinking there can't be nobody left in that ship.
No.
Yeah.
Like if they would have, you know what I'm saying? If y'all would have gotten bombed, or if they would have blown up your ship or anything, you're fucked.
That would've
Like
been
now
done.
you're all
Y'all would've
stuck
been
here,
stranded, yeah.
and you would have been stuck standing on
the pleasure
a
planet.
carpet. Yeah, on a pleasure planet of all places, and you're stuck standing on carpet, with no weapons, no nothing, because all 500 of you had to get off the ship to get her down the block. You know what I'm saying? Like, who is watching your ship?
Yep. And so they come in, they hire the Ravagers to go and find the Guardians. And we cut back to Ego. And this is when Drax thought Yondu was his father. It was Peter's father. He's like, you
They
thought
look just
Yondu was my
alike."
father this whole time? They look alike.
Like,
One is blue.
Yeah.
He's like, they
Wait,
look
you
the
thought
same.
Yondu was my
Which is funny because like later on, it's like, oh man.
And then Mantis is trying to smile, and Drax is like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm trying to smile. It's like, that
I
is
hear it
the
not
makes
working.
people more comfortable. Not when you do it like that.
And then she's like, oh, you have a
you're
nice
hideous.
pet. Can I pet it? Talking about Rocket. Drax is like, yeah. And she pets
I
Rocket.
love that he understands jokes now. That's called a practical joke.
I just made it up. He's like, I just made it up.
Yeah, he was really excited too. He's like,
He's the
yeah, I made it
best.
up, guys.
And this is where we hear the story of Gamora says, oh, I loved your story about David Hasselhoff. It's like, what? David Hasselhoff.
Hasselhoff.
Oh. And she tells a story about how, as a kid, he would tell other kids that David Hasselhoff was his dad. And I thought that was very
Carries his
emotional
picture around
moment.
in his pocket.
And he still carries the picture around.
That was a
And-
good moment.
Yeah, when you still saw the picture, it was like, oh, and the whole like, what if this actually is your father? It's like, oh, good
and it shows...
Because she also knows she might lose him
Exactly.
in giving him to her dad, but she's okay with that. She's
And this
like,
one shows
sucks,
that
but
she likes the vulnerable side of him.
she loves the vulnerable side of
Because
him.
that's when he's truthful.
And that's what I love too. Like I loved in this movie, like as far as their relationship goes, I love that it wasn't cliche or forced. It was things you all understand, the unspoken thing,
Yeah.
I love the
Oh, that was great.
yeah, and I love that it was like, that was the hint at it because we've always seen Peter flirting or hitting on Gamora, but we've never seen Gamora sort of like respond to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I felt like this is the first time that we saw her like respond and beyond respond, be like, oh wait, she might actually like him. And the moment of just like, yeah, that's my favorite story about you. And it's the truth because if Peter wasn't so arrogant and over the top, she would probably be with him, but he's an
I kind
asshole.
of like that though. I like that they're kind of taking their time with that romance.
Yeah, because it's the truth. He has grown up to do, and she has like softening up to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because
Like,
that's
she
how
was-
TV shows lose their audience, according to Peter Quill.
Exactly. Get no ratings.
He's like, it's
No
like the
one
TV shows where they want them to get together, but when they do, they get no ratings. I love that.
That was so meta. I love that.
I love it.
And this is when they decide to split up. Peter, Drax, and Gamora leave with Ego, and Drax takes all his stuff because he doesn't trust Rocket. And I love that. It's like,
Yeah,
wait,
that
all
was
your stuff.
hilarious.
It's so true.
Oh,
Though.
just-
I don't want Rocket to go through
giant
my
bag.
things.
And I love that this was done subtly. I love us seeing Rocket fix the ship. That tech was awesome. Like that kind of, he was kind of scanning and you see the ship rebuilding itself.
yeah.
He's scanning it. I thought it was really well done. And Groot was so sad to see Gamora leave. It was like, oh,
That was oops. That got me choked up. I was like, oh,
He's like, I'll
but
be
it's so
back.
true. It's like babies do cry when their parents leave. Just like, oh,
Mad
and
adorable.
especially being that like that's like his mom. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He
Yeah.
might have 4 dads, but he has
Yeah.
one mom.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it's like any of the rest of them leave, he's like, yeah, whatever. But like the one
Like
mom you
Gamora
have is
left.
like, oh,
Okay, now and then we cut to Ego's ship. They finally get on Ego's ship, and Drax. I love Drax and Peter having a bet about why Mantis has antennas. And Drax is like, I say it's because if you're going under a low doorway, it stops you from getting decapitated. And Peter's like, I say if it's anything else, I win
other
the
than
bet.
decapitation, then I win.
And we find out about her empathic powers, and that's why you see the joke we've seen in the trailers where she's like, "Oh,
You
you're
must be so
in love with him, with her." It's like,
Ha 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 ha.
you must be so embarrassed.
Yeah, she told everybody a secret. Ha ha ha.
But I love it when she touches
Do
Drax,
me.
and so she starts laughing too.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's laughing
that's
at her.
right.
And then when she touches Gamora, shoot.
No, she tries to. She doesn't touch it.
No,
Yeah,
she
she
never
didn't even
touches
touch her,
her.
yeah.
Yeah, because
She
Gamora
touched
grabs. She touches Gamora later,
Yeah, she
or
does.
Gamora touches her later.
She
But
might have
Gamora
shown
grabs her
later.
hand.
Yeah. When she
And
touched Drax, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was like so crazy.
And Mantis shows her abilities, and she explains that she helps Ego go to sleep because he needs to be able to go to sleep.
And that
So
came back too.
that sets that up. And then we
that's
cut
a good
back
setup.
to the planet where we left Rocket and Nebula, and we see the Ravagers trying to ambush him. So we think, oh, Rocket is doing some work, whistling and stuff. But you find out he's ambushing them. And that was badass.
Such a great sequence.
Seeing
that's
Rocket
the
just take him
best.
out. Seeing
Yo.
Rocket
Rocket
punch someone in
taking
the
on
face.
The whole team was like,
Literally.
Dude, he killed them all.
Yeah, he was hopping from like dude to dude. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Badass fight scenes, like punching people. Like when the Ravagers came through and they were like, what are you going to do now? It just jumps in their face, punching. You know, all that kind of stuff. And Nebula asked Groot to release her so that she can go and help him. But ultimately she doesn't. And
Which
that's
we all knew.
Yeah, of course.
We all knew. Like,
kinda
I wanted it
wanted
to,
to believe
and
it.
we all wanted that moment. But so did
Yeah.
Groot, which is why he let her go. And we all would have been let
we
down.
all fell for
We
it.
all got let down. All of us were like, let her go.
Yeah. And that's when the what's it called? The mutiny starts, because that's where Yondu gets shot in the head by, well, not in the head, the
yeah,
fin.
they took his
the
Yeah.
fin, which powers his whistle thing. And then we get back to Ego and we arrive on the planet. That's what I was talking about earlier. It was pretty. I love
So
the visuals
beautiful.
of it.
Beautiful
IMAX
planet.
3D.
The number one fantasy plan I've ever seen.
It looks so great.
Yeah.
And this is where Ego starts telling
Like
the
that's
story.
definitely like you know how you think like if I could design my own planet, what would it look like? But it's like, damn.
It looks so
It
good.
looks
Like you
so
went
good.
all out.
Especially like they said on the IMAX screen.
Yes.
Like if anybody lives in
Seriously,
New
on
York,
the IMAX screen?
go see it in like
68th
Square.
Street. You have to.
if you can. And then this
It's
way,
beautiful.
Ego tells a story.
Yeah.
Ego tells a story of how he came to be. He was a floating, just consciousness brain in space for millennia, until he realized what he was, and then he was able to create a planet around him. And he says they ask, "Is he a god?" He's like, "Well, God, small G." I love that he says that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small G God.
But then he also said when I'm being humble,
yeah,
or something like that.
Drax, like Drax.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Drax
when
is
I'm being
like-
as humble as Drax.
And he mentions how body he made himself isn't the actual him. That's a construct, and so he has to come back every so often to kind of revitalize himself. And then Drax says, "Do you have a penis?" It's like,
I
what?
love that.
Yeah,
it
you
ended
see
up
what I
being
mean? Like
a
even the
3-minute
jokes are so
conversation.
crude, bro.
He's
Like,
like,
And it was like
he's like,
3
what?
minutes of that conversation.
was
It
a-
wasn't even like it was a quick thing and they let it go.
Yeah.
It's like,
Guardians
what
is not.
if you're a planet having sex with your mom, he would smush her. He's like, I don't think of him having sex with my mom. And the Drax is like, what? In my culture, my father tells me stories about
Yeah.
how he consummated me with my mother
it's the most beautiful story I've ever heard. Yo,
every solstice.
this movie could have been R-rated. I swear to God, bro.
I love that.
Exactly.
And then after that, we cut back to the Ravager ship where the mutiny begins. The Ravagers that signed with Yondu are spaced. That was so sad when their friends got thrown out
That
into
was
space.
crazy.
I was like, damn.
But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. This movie's dark
so
as
dark.
fuck. Like, they killed his whole. They floated his
Yeah, just-
team.
Yo.
Like
Thrown out
his
into
whole
space.
team just for agreeing with him. And it wasn't even like he did some super soft thing. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
it's not like
that
he was like.
rough.
Yes.
That was rough.
Like,
to
and he
watch.
just sat there like, oh,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what I'm saying? Looking at him, it's
watching
like,
all
what
his
kind
friends
of,
die. You know.
yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
what kind of position are you in where you know that everyone's dying because of you, but also you can't stop it because if you try to save them, then they're still gonna die anyway, and
Yeah.
everybody's gonna think you're weak. So it's like, what do you do other than sit there, you know,
Yeah.
and,
this-
not
He
cry?
doesn't even have his fin. You know.
And this is where we're introduced
Exactly.
to the best name ever, Taserface.
Yeah. Taserface.
Taserface? Like, what? Your name is Taserface?
Yo.
It was like, woke up in the morning, and the best name you could think of was Taser face.
Dude. And then I love it because then the Sovereign Queen is like laughing.
Everyone's laughing at him.
He was like, tell everybody that it was
Taser
Taser face.
face.
Do you shoot tasers out of your face? It's metaphorical.
For what?
Yo. And then all the other Ravagers were laughing while Rocket was just lighting him up.
Airing him.
That was so funny.
And then this is where one of the Ravagers asks Nebula, so what are you going to do with your cut? And she's like, gives this whole story about how Thanos used to rip her body to pieces because every time she couldn't keep up with her sister Gamora.
Every time she lost a
that's
battle,
another,
she took
like,
something.
that was
else.
so
Like,
deep.
That was another
damn.
dark
So
She was
deep.
like my arm, my eye. I was
Even
like,
her parts of her
shit.
brain as well.
And
Yeah,
then-
he took
yeah.
her brain out
Yeah.
her head. It's like, fuck.
And then while she's saying that, you just like realize, like, fuck, you really are like half
Yeah.
robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're also really fucking damaged. I
Yeah.
get it. Like, you
Yeah.
are broken, girl. Literally broken. Like, taken apart, put back together, broken.
Yep, and that's why
Love
she,
that
she
they took
says
it
she wants
there.
revenge on Thanos. We come back to Ego's planet, and Ego explains why he had to leave, saying that he has to revitalize himself. And he shows Peter how to access the light within, and that's why they start playing catch. I love that.
That was so funny.
Yeah, it was so cute. And it was funny though because in that part of the film, I was like, this is going way too cheesy for me. Like I was starting to reject it. I'm not gonna lie. It was getting to a point where I was like, it was way too
Wait,
corny.
what do you mean? Like until like from the first frame, it was feeling cheesy?
No, so like when they got to the plane, I was like, this is dope.
Oh, okay,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
like literally up until like, you know, like right around the Force
Yeah.
time,
Oh,
which
okay,
even
got
though
you,
I
got
was
you,
with
got
it,
you.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I was like, yeah, he has powers.
Yeah.
But I was also, it was just, you know, it was ridiculous. It was like
Access
the
to light
music
within.
and even the camera work. It was so like whimsical and just,
yeah.
and you're like, what the fuck is this?
That was definitely
Like,
on purpose.
You know
But
what I'm
yeah,
saying? And it's in the
yeah.
middle of the film, and I'm like, this isn't what the fuck I wanted. You know what I'm saying? And not that I wanted a bad encounter at all, but I definitely didn't want to, boom, cookie cutter. Oh, now he's
like, now
throwing
they're
balls,
together,
and like
yeah.
now they're cool and they're friends. Like fuck that. But then it's like
It's the-
literally
it's
then
the
the
joke.
next scene you're like, oh.
With the music, especially.
Yeah.
And I love that,
Once
'cause-
song
That's what I'm saying. The
plays,
music was so like, damn.
and it even plays to what he says before. I was on to play catch with my father earlier on. You know, so it's like a
yeah,
callback,
that's
and I love that. It was just like a funny joke. And then this is where we get.
And it was crazy too, though, poor Peter. Like having to hear, like, you know, like, you're my son. I've searched galaxies for you. Your whole life, I've been looking for you. Blah blah blah, and thinking that you are the sole heir to this god, and now you're a god, and then having that ripped from under you the same day. You know, like hours later, it's like, whoo.
Yo, it's crazy how they
And
fit
so-
that arc in there.
And so we also find out where Drax calls Mantis hideous. And he says, but that's a good thing. When someone loves you when you're hideous, you know they love you for who you are.
Yeah, that was so real.
Beautiful people never know who to trust.
Exactly. Oh, I have me dying. Beautiful people never know
Yo,
who to trust.
I try to imagine myself having sex with you.
He's like, I was trying to be nice earlier when I called you disgusting.
Dude, and then at the end, like,
No reason to
he
be
tries to
personal.
be nice, and he's like, you're beautiful
On the inside.
on the inside.
But see, what I love about that is that Drax means that in a different way to what you think he means that. Because when he tells a story about his wife, about how she was boring to the point where she
Then
couldn't-
you understand what he sees is beautiful too.
Exactly. You know, he doesn't see, he looks for inner beauty.
And
That's-
his
that's-
parents
that's a
telling
couple-
the story every year.
Yeah, for
And
real.
My parents tell the story of how they make
what I
me
love is-
every year.
what I love with Drax
It's
is
beautiful. What's wrong with you people?
he says Mantis reminds him of his daughter, and he was thinking of his daughter, and then he's just sitting there staring, and then when Mantis touches him, because she can feel her,
And she starts crying,
She
it's
starts
like,
crying.
oh.
That tells you that he cries because he feels she
Or
feels
that he
his-
doesn't.
'cause
And
they
he
killed
has
his
the
daughter.
feeling
I
with
was
him all the
saying
time.
he feels the emotion.
Yeah.
He may not show it on the outside, but the
But
emotion is
inside,
there.
he's like torn apart
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they killed
because-
his daughter.
And I love that because you see how heartfelt it is. And then we cut back to the Ravager ship, and this is where Yondu and Rocket start to connect. You know, so Yondu calls out Rocket and says, "You only do this stuff because you don't want to admit that
Hold
you."
on, wait. I don't want to let's just backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
I have one question.
Okay.
And did anybody else catch this? But when Mantis felt Drax,
Yeah.
wasn't she about to tell him that maybe Gamora killed his daughter? Or was
No.
that just me?
No. She was going to tell him about Ego.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was going to tell him about Ego.
I was about to say because
No,
Gamora popped out.
yeah,
and it was
Gamora
like,
pops
what
out.
were you gonna tell him?
Yeah, no, she was going to tell about Ego, but then she's kind of stopped
Okay,
herself.
okay.
Yeah,
I just want to clear that.
She
up.
started
I was
feeling like,
wow,
hey,
plot twist.
this guy Ego isn't what you think he is.
Good. All right,
And
cool.
yeah, so they get on the Ravager. We go back to the Ravager ship. Yondu and Rocket are in prison, and they start communicating because Yondu calls him out for being like, "Why are you always a dick?" And he starts telling him, "I know what it feels like. You know, my family sold me to slaves. I know the people that created you treated you horribly, and I know that's why you do all these things because you're afraid to get close. because Yondu's admitting to himself because
He's like, you're me.
Yeah, because the Ravagers accused Yondu of being too close to Peter. And then Rocket's the same. And then we cut to Groot being picked on because he's too adorable to kill.
Like it was so fucked up, and just the whole mascot. Man, I was like, oh, like my heart, like it hurt.
I was just about
so
to say my heart
bad.
like dropped when I saw
Like
them
I
pour
was
alcohol
like on
on
some like
Baby
I was about to have to
Groot,
walk out the theater.
Like, they
Like
try
I
to
was like, yo, dead ass. Like I don't know how much more I can take of
That's
this
like
child
torture.
abuse. Like
Like,
this
they try to
is
fight-
messed up.
Child
yo.
abuse.
And even when he tries to
It's
fight,
fucked
they
up.
kick him into the side. Like he tries to fight, and they just kick him to the side. And I was like, oh.
I know, and like he's
Yeah,
like
that's
punching
sad.
their shoe,
Yeah.
and then they like pouring drink. Oh, it's traumatized. I don't even want to talk about
But
it. anymore.
just because of that, though, that's what made it so great when he finally got his revenge.
Ah, yes.
Oh, he
on the-
killed the shit out of
Yeah.
that dude. I was like,
That's what made it just like, yeah,
You're
that's
like,
right,
gosh.
Groot.
And I love
Get
it
your
because you
revenges,
also
bro.
remember who raised him. Like, regardless,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like he was raised by the fucking Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right,
exactly.
Like,
That's what he sees every day.
exactly. That's like regular shit for him.
That's
That's
his
like,
influence.
you see what he dances in.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, when all that chaos is going on, that's a typical day for him. He's in there doo-ba-doo, dancing and shit. So.
Just
so then-
shooting monster eyes and shit.
And so then
Exactly.
Groot afterwards starts walking away in sadness, but he's walking past the cell, and that's where he sees Yondu and Rocket, who tried to convince Groot to go and get the fin.
Oh, that was the best. That whole scene, how long
Yo,
it took him to get
that
the
was a
dick.
funny
Get the
joke.
fin.
That was a real
He
funny
And that's
joke.
the thing too. Like, think it. Nah, I'm not gonna fall into the rabbit hole. We're not gonna
Oh,
talk about it.
No. Let's not do
don't
that.
go down.
I was just saying, all I'm gonna say is that I like how even though that scene was long,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like technically, the whole like him getting the fin thing could have been way shorter.
Yeah.
But the montage worked so well.
It
Like it
worked
was
so
done
well.
so well that you didn't mind it, even though it takes time out of the whole
Exactly.
story.
And he's like,
Whereas I don't think that's gonna be the case in certain
it's
things.
like,
Like,
again, it was like-
whose eye is that? Oh no, don't take it back.
no,
Don't
keep
take it back.
it.
Keep
Yeah,
it.
keep
It'll be
it.
hilarious when he wakes up in the morning and can't find it.
can't find his
He's like, do
eye.
you guys have dead toes around here? Like,
He's like,
where
nope.
do you get the eye?
No, it's the end. It's like, do you have tell me you have a box with 7 toes? No. Okay, let's not ever speak about this. Because it didn't lose that Groot literally severed someone's toe.
Yeah, exactly.
Groot cut someone's
Cut
toe.
someone's
Yeah,
toe off,
thinking
thinking
that
that
was
was
the
what he
fin.
needed.
Let's not
He's
talk
like,
about this.
he's not going to get it. And I love that because you can tell either James Gunn has had kids or he knows people with kids because that's exactly how kids would be.
Yeah.
Where you try to, have you ever tried explaining something to a kid and they
Yeah,
look like they get
exactly.
it and they completely
Yeah.
don't get it?
Exactly. Like, yep.
I was just about to say, like, yeah.
Shit, have you ever tried to explain something to me?
And I love the line.
I was sitting there watching it like, yeah, Groot, I've been there, man.
And I love when Groot,
It's a fin. It looks like you're like,
it's like,
okay.
or when when it's like Groot says he doesn't like hats because you can't tell is it someone's head or is it the hat shape of their head? It's like, wait, is that why you don't like hats?
Yo, that was like such a funny side conversation.
And so
That's why you don't like hats?
and so with the help of I forget his name, one of the other Ravagers, Groot gets the fin, and the other Ravager helps them escape from prison.
Oh,
fe-
James Gunn's
brother,
brother,
I
Sean
forget his
Gunn.
yeah, Sean Gunn. I forget his name, his character name, but then he says,
Kraglin?
something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it starts with a K.
Crag-
And I
I
felt
think
so
it's
sad
Kraglin.
when he's like, I didn't mean to do a mutiny. They killed all my friends. I was like,
It's so true, though. It's like suddenly
ugh.
y'all ain't friends. Like, those ain't your peoples, like,
Yeah.
10 minutes ago. So, like, if Yondu wasn't weak, y'all would have still been friends. Like, it's just a weird thing. It's like you're just going to kill all your homies and keep the guy that you
Like,
think weak.
What did you expect
alive,
if
you
he
know?
went free? He was gonna
Yeah.
fucking, and he did it too. He killed literally
Oh, that was
everybody.
amazing.
we cut to Ego's planet, and then Ego explains more because he touches Peter, and Peter starts to see the universe or eternity, as he says, and he explains his plan that he wants to make everything like him, and he explains to Peter that he could have done it by himself, but he needed another celestial to do it with him, and Peter was the only one that gained powers out of all the kids he fathered, and
And like
one of my favorite lines he says, when Peter starts getting powers more, he says, for the first time in my existence, I am not alone. And I think that line is very telling of why he does what he does. Because ultimately he's been around for millennia and he's been lonely. And he doesn't want to be lonely. And when Peter says, what about my friends? Ego says, that's your mortal side talking. And he explains that why he never returned. He said because he loved the mother too much, that if he went back to her, he knew that he would stay. So that's why he had to leave, because he was that guy, like the song says, the sea's calling.
sea is calling me.
Calling me. And I love that. And so that's when all that stuff happens and Peter realizes, wait, no, you can't kill all my friends.
Also, those damn blobs is scary as hell.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that?
And
like,
this way Peter-
you know what I'm saying? Especially
If that
for
shit
people that
happened
are
in real-
driving and chilling or just
Yeah.
walking their dog, like to
yeah,
turn
that shit
around and see
happened
some
in real
fucking
life.
blob.
Wow.
Especially being that, like,
That shit
they
is
somehow
terrifying.
made the blob cool. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
remember the old story of the blob
Yeah.
we all, like, make fun of and laugh at now? But it's like, no, that's actually fucking terrifying.
And this is when Mantis tells them, Gamora and Drax, that this guy isn't who you think he is.
Yeah.
And this is when Peter
and it's
also
crazy
finds
though,
out.
because he was only gonna keep him alive. Like he was gonna kill him if he didn't have powers.
Yeah, because he killed all his other children.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
killed all those other kids.
That's
It's
crazy.
nuts.
And this is where you also find out that
He has mad
Peter
kids.
finds out.
He had like 100,000 kids.
This is where Peter finds out that Ego killed his mother, and as soon as he realizes that, he just gets
When
the
he
gun,
said
and
that, you
shoots him.
put he was like, when
He
I
got
put
right
that
out of
tumor
that
in your
celestial
mother's
state.
brain, pow, 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 instantly just
Dude,
shot.
that was crazy because
That was crazy.
he wasn't
'Cause
thinking
he
this-
didn't even know if he was gonna live through that.
just
Yeah.
shot
He
the
was
shit out of
literally
him,
trying to kill him. He's
Yeah,
like,
and it-
Father, now you killed my mother? Nope.
and it crushed my Walkman.
And
Yeah,
crushed his
exactly.
Walkman. That was when you knew he fucked up. When you saw that Walkman crush after knowing this
Yes.
man just told you he killed your mom. Like, it reminded me of, like, the moment when Tony Stark realizes fucking Bucky killed
Yes,
his parents.
That's
Like,
true.
you
That
feel
is
it.
very
You know
true.
what I'm saying? When it's
Spoiler
like,
alert.
your friend killed my parents. Like, fuck you.
This
Yo.
is where we get the David Hasselhoff cameo, where
Oh,
Ego turns
yes.
into him, which is a great little.
Oh, that was
cameo.
funny.
Tried to be like, oh, it's
And so the
great.
Ravagers and the Ravagers ship with Yondu, Sean Gunn, whatever his name is, and Rocket and Groot arrives on the planet to save them. Drax jumps on the ship. Groot's standing in the way, and he's like, "Out of the way, swallow dumber Groot." And so the team make a plan to stop Ego. And Yondu also explains why he saved Peter in the first place, because he said he saved Peter when he started realizing what Ego was doing with the kids, and he couldn't, because the whole time Peter thinks Yondu kept him because he's small and nimble, he can steal things.
Thieving, yeah.
Yeah, and he actually explains to him. And also, so they go off to stop Ego. Ego gets crushed by the ship, and he's rebuilding himself. And so the team goes inside his planet. They make a plan that they have to get close to put a bomb on his brain to destroy it, and but they have to cut through this layer to get through. And while they're doing that, the Sovereign attack, because of course the Sovereign come out of nowhere. They attack. Drax and Mantis and Gamora fall off the ship. And then I love this moment where Nebula helps them stop the Sovereign, because she almost sacrifices herself. She attaches the ship wires and cables to her body.
Yeah,
to power the
and it was
ship.
crazy because they told her, like,
It's gonna hurt.
this is gonna hurt, but it's also, you remember how much pain has Nebula been through. This ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, she like, plug me up.
Rocket jumps off, that sets an explosion, and the whole ship explodes. And that's when they think Yondu and Peter are dead, but Yondu comes gliding down like Mary Poppins.
Poppins.
Is he cool?
Is
yes,
he
he's
cool? Yes, he's cool. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Just coming down. It's the best.
And then moments
That was
after,
so great.
that's when Mantis gets knocked on the head, and Drax is like, "Look out!"
I tried to warn you.
warn her.
And so they make their plan. Now they have no ship.
This is nothing.
I skipped the scene where Nebula and Gamora.
Fight.
They have their fight, which is a great
Yeah,
fight.
first off, we
Let's go
definitely
back
have to
that.
talk about that
Let's go
fight
back to
Definitely
because
kill her.
that was one of my number one fight scenes ever of just hatred. Like,
Just
I've never
sister.
just felt
Raven
the
has a
hatred
sister,
like that.
so she gets it.
Yeah, I have sisters.
She gets it.
And I'm the oldest, so me and Gamora, I was like, girl, I get it. But like, I loved it. Like, I loved seeing the rage through the ship, though.
Yes.
You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, her literally launching a
look,
ship
yeah.
at you.
She threw it through the hole.
Because it's
It
like
wouldn't
you're
fit.
throwing a ship at someone. Like, it
She
didn't
was
fit.
fucking upset,
and she went
bro.
out of her way. Like, if this entire fucking ship blows up,
As long
if
as I
the
take you out.
caves collapse, if I die in the process, bitch, I'm taking you with me. That's all that matters in the end of the day, is that I take you out. And she was willing to sacrifice her ship, herself, the entire fucking planet
was
to
so
kill her
mad.
sister. And I love that. Like, when Gamora moves out the way, like, she just instantly, like, just, like, rolls over, like, come on, picks up that big-ass rocket.
I love
and
when she
just
picks up the gun.
Shooting at her, like, just stop. You know what I'm saying? It's just so the, like, typical, like, older sibling, like,
Sisterly fight.
look, I'm not gonna fight you. You know I'd fuck you up. You know what I'm saying? She's like, come on, just stop. It's like smacking. Like, it's like giving a pity smack every time somebody punches you. You're just like, all right, stop, for real.
I also forgot to mention the part where Peter realizes he can, I can build stuff. Oh, I'm gonna build some crazy shit.
Big Pac-Man.
Big Pac-Man.
And then the Pac-Man comes back.
Oh,
When you
definitely.
see that big ass
I
Pac-Man, that
love
moment's
that.
awesome.
And so, okay, we're going back again. So now at this point, they're all trying to stop Ego, and they can't fit into this hole, so they need Groot to do it. And so Rocket's trying to teach Groot.
But I love it
the
though,
correct
because
button
that's
to
also
press.
how Peter was. You know what I'm saying? That's why Yondu claims he got Peter, because you were small and you
Someone
could fit
can
into the holes.
I love that. And then the Groot can't figure out. They can't. Rocket's trying to find tape. And I love that.
I love the tape
Peter
discussion,
goes.
it's the best.
He's like, "Do you have tape?" And in the middle of a fight, there's a crazy fight going on outside. He's asking everyone for tape, and he comes back. No one has tape. Did you ask Nebula? I mean, I asked Gamora, and she was standing right next to her. I knew you didn't ask her. Like, of all the people that would have tape, it'd be you.
Because I have to do everything.
Then Ego starts to win. Peter gets impaled, and we see other planets almost being destroyed. We see Earth. We see different kind of planets.
Yeah.
We see Groot almost getting squished. And then Yondu says to Peter, "The way my whistle, I control it not with my mind, but with my heart." Like, he gets cut off.
Yeah.
Before that. And then that's where we get a flashback. We see Peter get a flashback of all his time. And that's when he realizes his family are those around him, not this guy in front of him. And that's when he gets his power. And he starts fighting them. And then Groot sticks the bomb. Ego realizes the bomb's going to explode. And he starts going crazy. You can't let him kill me. You can't let him kill me. We won't be immortal.
And he'll lose his power. Obviously.
Yeah, he'll lose his power. And then Groot and the Rocket escape. And then Yondu stays behind to go and find Peter.
That's such a fucking great
And they know
scene,
it's a one-way trip. And Rocket knows it's a one-way trip.
Such a great scene.
And I also love that, like, everyone finds out, like, including the audience at the same time, how Yondu always felt about Peter.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
like, it's
so
like
emotional.
Peter didn't know, we didn't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shit, Yondu didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Because even Yondu, I feel, lied to himself.
Yes.
His, you know, the entire time with Peter, that the reason that he kept him around wasn't because he liked him. It was because he could fit through the holes. Yeah. And, like, eventually, you know, he's like, you didn't realize by now the real reason. But at the same time, I feel like he didn't either.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, but it's like that line he said. He was like, Ego may have been your father, but I'm your dad.
I'm your dad.
I'm your daddy. Yeah, it's like,
Yes.
shit.
I love that.
And it's like, I feel like before that, he would have never admitted to it. You know? Like, before any of that stuff, Yondu was also like, I feel like,
he was like redeeming himself throughout the entire movie.
And I love the relationship between him and Rocket, too, a lot.
Oh,
because
I love it.
I feel like both of them
great chemistry
created that humanity for one another. You know what I'm saying? Like, Yondu looking at Rocket like, this is how I seem to people, you know, and like, this is what I want to be, all this other stuff. And Rocket also realizing, like, this is me later.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is what I'm going to become. Or
there's someone like me out there.
Exactly,
you know?
like, just like me. You know, I've been through everything too. But, you know, like, he also gets to see firsthand what happened to his crew.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you see what came of it. And it was crazy because...
Yeah,
because I kind of, like, had a moment too at first of, like, oh, well, Yondu's going to be all good now. But you think about it and you're like, no, it makes sense. You lost your entire crew.
Yeah.
Everything that you had turned their back on you. And the people that originally had your back exiled you because you betrayed them.
And he understood it. Why?
You know?
He's like, he was like, I was stupid. I was young. All I had to do was keep this code, and I didn't.
Yeah, you had one job.
He understands it. As angry as he was at them, he understands why.
And it's crazy, too, because it must be crazy for him realizing that the people, like, he ran into, because you can see the hurt in, like, Starhawk.
Yeah. No,
you know, like, you could feel the hurt, and I feel like he realized in that moment, and he even said it, you disappointed us all.
Yes.
And, you know, I feel like him realizing, like, I disappointed the people that really fucked with me and loved me.
Especially the guy that brought me in.
Yeah, that brought me in. And then beyond that, the people that you left them to fuck with, you know, like, nah, this is my team now. I'm a rule.
And that's why...
End up throwing out half it, like, literally floating your boys. And then, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he lost everything.
And that's why he didn't want Rocket to lose his close friends, like the Guardians.
Exactly.
So it's like, you shouldn't
push
do that.
Everyone away.
And then when Gamora goes to try, she's like, where's Peter? She goes to try and save Peter. Rocket stops her. He says, I don't want to lose another friend today. And I love
that's
that.
when it became selfless. It was like
that moment for all, it was
a
too
crowning moment
much.
for
like, I was telling
Rocket.
Dave, I was like, the last whole, like,
the last
half hour or
30
so,
minutes,
I was like, I'm not gonna cry. You're not gonna get me.
As fuck.
You're not gonna get me. But it just kept going. I was like, damn, can I breathe, bitch? Like,
I told Dave after the movie, I was like, yo, I cried a full tear, like during the when Yondu died.
Yep, we all did. I feel like that was when none of us could hold on anymore. Like, I felt like we were all, like, on the edge of, like, tears. And it's like you're hanging off the cliff of just, like, tears. Like, I might be able to climb above it, but then it's like,
just drop off.
Nope.
So Peter, the bomb explodes. Peter stops Ego from stopping it, and I love when Ego says, "If the bomb blows up, you'll be normal." And Peter's like, "Well, that's what I want to be." And then Yondu sacrifices himself, saves Peter, and I love when Peter's trying to remove the thing, but he can't remove it, take it off of himself. He realizes. And then Yondu puts his hand on him.
So powerful.
He's like, so powerful. And so we cut.
I was sitting there, I was like, no, he can't die. He can't die. I'm like, they're going to do like in the first film to prove to fans again it's possible. I was like, he's not going to die. And then I was like, oh my God, Yondu died. No.
And I think that's one, I believe it's probably Marvel's movie's most powerful death.
Definitely.
In a way, it's more powerful than
There's never been a
Coulson
power
died.
I felt that much.
There's a lot of new things in general.
Yeah. That's the thing though. Coulson dying was tough, but it was quick.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? There was so many things going on and we couldn't focus on it. That wasn't the end. Mm-hmm. If they would have ended the Avengers film with Coulson dying, instead we had
that was the inciting incident.
Instead it was the opposite, where we had kind of like hope in the end, like, oh, maybe he's still alive kind of thing. Yeah. You know, but Yondu, like, that being the way that we like, all right, everyone have a good day, it's over.
They redeemed him and then they killed him. Yep.
You know, like.
And so we cut to Yondu's funeral, and I love that they put the artifacts, the things he collected in the first film. You know, he collected the troll and all his little pieces. They put it around his casket or whatever. So and then Peter's telling the eulogy, and he compares it to David Hasselhoff.
I'm getting choked up again.
He was my Knight Rider.
He was like, he was my Knight Rider.
Yeah, and
Hasselhoff had a beautiful voice.
Yeah,
his whistle was beautiful
speech, whistle. But the best speech at the same time.
They both had scores of women around them. So you could say my dad was David Hasselhoff.
It's like, oh,
I love that.
Awesome.
And then that's when Peter realizes that, you know, you can search around the universe for everything, but ultimately what you were searching for is right in front of you. And that was kind of like the message of the movie.
Yeah, I love that it ends on Rocket.
Yes.
Like the final shot is on Rocket. Yes.
Like, and that's where we get Gamora and Nebula. They part ways, but before they part ways, they kind of reconcile themselves. I like that when Nebula says, "All I wanted was a sister, and you're always competitive. I just wanted a sister," and like that's when they kind of connect. But Nebula still goes off because she thinks she can fight Thanos. I don't know why.
Which she lost her damn mind. My whole thing is, boo, if you couldn't beat Gamora. Like, just don't even go nowhere near Thanos. Yeah. Stay galaxies away from this man. Like, don't even bother. Because you can't even defeat Gamora. And Gamora, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Gamora just whipped your ass. Yeah. So, and that
but was her rage is real.
Her rage is real. Don't get me wrong. Her rage is official, but that's the thing that holds her back. You can't defeat Thanos with rage. You're never going to beat Thanos with rage. You're not going to beat Gamora with rage either because they're technical people. Like, they're technical fighters. They're going to take you out. Or Thanos will just fucking obliterate you. Like, you're going to die. Like, don't even bother. Just be happy you escaped.
And that's where the Ravager comes to Peter and says, we have something special for you. It's the biggest hit on Earth. It's called a Zune. It has 300 songs.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
A Zune.
The whole theater erupted in laughter when they saw it.
So great. That moment was just like,
that.
What?
It's a Zune.
It's a Zune.
It carries 300 songs.
I had a Zune, man. My Zune was awesome. I had a 64 gig Zune, man. I had like every episode of Family Guy on there. I had Dave Chappelle on there. That goes to show you when this came out.
Peter gives him Yondu's arrow. And then that's when the other Ravager factions arrive.
Oh.
And they finally arrive to give him a send-off.
Yeah, that was too much. The whole you will never see the lights. Like, and then when the lights happen, instantly, that's when everybody's tears fell.
And they did this salute. Yeah. And everything
everyone
like that.
And then that's when Ving Rhames and Michelle Yeoh is like,
and then you know what's crazy too? Fun fact. All the other Ravagers that they revealed in the end together is the original team from the 1969
with the guy with the ice
names.
body and all that kind of stuff. He's also original.
Yeah. And I love that. Such a great callback.
You could see the emotion in the other Ravager, the one that initially kind of betrayed them but came back. Sean Gunn. When he gets so excited, he's like, "Oh my god, they arrived! They came!" He was emotional. I wanted to cry with him.
He beat his chest twice, like yes.
Yep. And then that's when Rocket also realizes that, you know, they came back, you know, let me connect with my people. And that's where also Gamora also realizes the unspoken thing. She mentions it to Peter. She's like, I get that unspoken thing. And that's what Drax also says to Mantis, "You're beautiful too on the inside." And I love that. And it's such an emotional ending. And like they won, but it was with sacrifice. And what I loved is that they saved the galaxy again, but most of the galaxy don't realize because unlike the first one where it was like, okay, people are watching this happen. This one is like, people just see this blue thing coming out of nowhere and then it just gets stopped. So Earth got saved and they didn't even know why. Yeah. You know, like the Avengers ain't got shit. Yeah. And the movie ends and we cut to a couple of end credits. Hopefully you guys stayed for end credits. Five of them. The first one was...
I hope you say for all of them.
I know.
They probably saw at least two.
The first one was when the Ravager tries to control the arrow and accidentally stabs Drax. Drax like, ah!
Oh, that was the best. I was dying because you did not expect it to pull out and boom, Drax. Fucking arrow. Oh, it was amazing.
The second one we saw was where we see Stallone with his team. It's like, guys, we have to get the team back.
Which has me super excited for either Guardians 3 or like spin-off, whatever.
No, I think it's probably with Guardians 3.
I want a TV series.
Sure. That's what I was going to say. I want a TV series. But the problem is the actors are so big, you know,
whatever.
May or may not
That's exactly what I was talking
That's my only
Netflix concern. Can get Will Smith.
Absolutely not. Netflix could. I think
Netflix got Will Smith. What's Stallone doing? He's not doing
anything. If it ends up on anything, it would have to be on Netflix. But also all of them will have to be available at the same time. And then be around for an entire season.
What are they doing?
They ain't doing shit. But they're still like, I feel like they're in denial of their own, schedules. Like, I feel like they're like, no, I don't have time for that. Like, I don't feel like I can see them teaming up. Like, I would love it. I can see them teaming up in a movie.
I would love to see like the original Guardians team up with the new Guardians.
Yeah, I would love it.
That'd be great.
That'd be cool.
We also don't know what's gonna happen to the Guardians in the Avengers
Infinity
films.
Wars.
Yeah.
A lot of them might either die or split completely. Because there's problems that happen within the team that are gonna happen because of other events. So it's like, because of that, they might be completely disbanded.
Yep.
There might not even be a Guardians of the Galaxy.
And there you go.
In which case they need a whole new team because there's no team at all.
We also get a second Stan Lee cameo, which is
best.
great because
him on the moon.
This if you don't know who these characters are,
Can someone give me a ride back?
The characters he's talking to are known in the comics as the Watchers.
Yeah.
And the whole point of the Watchers is that in the comics is that they're always there for like major events to watch. And so Stan Lee's credited as like the Watchers liaison or something like that. And so it explains why in every movie he's the same exact character, because he's there watching these events to go back to the Watchers.
Oh, that's a great tie-in,
It's such a great tie-in. I love that, and even says, wait, I've got more stories to tell you. So it's saying that he's seen other things, in future movies, which is great because so it's official, guys. Every cameo Stan Lee's done in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he's exactly the same character, and he's there for a purpose to watch these events unfold to get back to the Watchers.
He's like an observer.
I love that.
Fringe reference.
And then
to all my nerds out there.
Another cameo we get, this is for the super nerds. You see the Sovereign leader. She creates this being because she's like, okay, I'm going to create this being. Because it's established that the Sovereign, they create each other out of perfect DNA. And this is like the most perfect one she's created. And she's going to call it Adam. And for you comic fans, Adam alludes to Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock, he's also
one
an
of
original
the OGs.
Guardians. And he's kind of got like godlike powers. And he even has at one point has a Infinity Stone embedded in his head. And he's one of the people that can go toe-to-toe with Thanos. So I think he's going to be a big deal going forward.
Yeah, I was reading something online where they were like they would love Zac Efron to play Adam Warlock.
Is that good?
I don't want it.
Because
I want someone...
technically he looks like a perfect specimen.
I know. Bro.
You know who I want? I want something along the lines of Fassbender. Like, I want someone with that kind of persona. You know what I'm saying? I want that kind of like regalness, or like, just because of the people he's coming from.
Like a younger...
You know what I'm saying? The people that are creating him, I feel like he has to have that like chest in the air.
Remember, he has to look...
Yeah,
like good.
Like
he has to
super.
be
Well, no,
like
that's
a
what I'm
movie
saying.
star.
Like,
yeah, but
well, Michael Fassbender's
look what they did with
gorgeous
Chris
to me.
Pratt.
I think that they're like, I feel like they
If
need
Chris
like
Pratt
a
can do
younger...
He was fat.
Exactly.
He was fat.
I know, but
Chris
like
Pratt, man.
They made him
like
look sexy.
that's like more along the lines
That's
of like
actually another
Brad
funny
Pitt
fact.
plays Adam Warlock.
True.
Like he has to look like a beautiful guy.
A young
See,
Brad Pitt.
I see it, but I see somebody like tall and like lean though. Like I see somebody that's like shaped like a swimmer almost. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like tall and like that kind of like leanness, but also has
like
to carry
Space
themselves. And
Jesus, exactly.
Because that's the thing.
Has to
You're
look like Jesus.
Like you need somebody that also like kind of floats. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't, but like floats above it. And you have to also understand like he's coming from the sovereigns, so it's like these are cocky people that think very highly of themselves. So it's like regardless of how he might be humble, but I still feel like his body demeanor will be that of somebody that thinks highly of themselves. So I'm interested to see. Yeah, Armie Hammer would be a good one.
But I think he might be Nightwing.
That would be good.
I think he's playing Nightwing.
Yeah, no.
He's gone to DC.
They got him.
Damn it.
And the final after credit sequence, we saw Teenage Groot. I love that.
Oh yeah, that was really funny.
I am cool.
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
I am Groot.
He's like, get your vines out of here. Stop playing that game.
I love how they're still like parents to him. It's so funny.
So
I love that. So I'm excited to see. And I'm glad they didn't like.
I am Groot. I am cool.
What I love is that they didn't like milk Baby Groot. Because it's not like we're going to see 3 movies of Baby Groot.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like it was just enough. We had fun with it. Okay, let's move forward. You know, because you could have easily kept him baby for like 2 more movies and let's kind of run with that. But you know, he's Teenage Groot now. I love that. And yes, that was the entire movie. We loved the movie. I thought it was great. I think it's more nuanced than people think. I think it's one of the movies that the more you watch it, the more you realize how deep the characters are. I mentioned in my review that this is the second time I've actually understood the Marvel villain. Next to Civil War with Zemo, where you understand why they do it even though you don't agree with their means. You really get why, from their perspective, that they actually believe that they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I love that.
It's like I was saying, like when we were talking after the movie, like they fixed the villain problem.
Yes.
by making these villains personal.
Yeah,
now.
it's very personal.
And it's really like it makes it more affecting now. Even like what you were talking about, like what Raven was talking about with Gamora's sister and Yondu.
Yeah.
Like these were villains in the last movie.
No, dude. I was talking to somebody.
And then we get their plot. Like, it's like, I get it.
It becomes personal.
But
and
even
it
ultimately,
just makes everything that much
I was talking to my cousin about it.
Because you should kind of want a villain to win.
The thing is,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the best villains are the ones that you agree with.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
you don't agree with their
Magneto.
methods. You agree with...
Like Magneto.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
He's
love...
human.
And at the same time, it's like his people have been through so much, and he had to go through... You know, the Holocaust. Like, this is a guy that's now having people still hate him. It's like, so his perspective of the mutants are the best and people fucking suck, you get it. So when he, like, is winning, you're not that mad, but you're like, so the stakes are so much.
But now you're becoming the bad person yourself. You're going to kill everyone.
Exactly. And I feel like other than Magneto, like, we haven't had really good Marvel villains. I feel like I'm glad that, like you said, like, they're stepping it up.
And what I love, I was talking to my cousin about this today. I didn't realize... Again, not to go down the rabbit hole, guys, but I'm going to go a little bit.
Man.
Is Suicide Squad. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, what Suicide Squad should be. Because you forget, these are criminals.
Yeah.
Every Guardians member is a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
They're all wanted.
Yeah.
There's bounties on literally all of their heads.
When they mentioned
multi-million-dollar bounties.
When the first film started, they introduced criminals. They met in prison. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They met being arrested together. That's how they met.
And they end up being...
all of them trying to commit the same crime.
And they end up saving the galaxy twice. So it's almost like this is Marvel's really Suicide Squad. It's what Suicide Squad should have been. Like, this is how we should have been connected to the character.
Suicide Squad / Star Wars.
You know, set in space. And that's another thing before we close it up.
Star Squad. Marvel Star Squad.
Before we close it up, what I love with this is that Marvel have gone unapologetically space, like, sci-fi. With Guardians 2. Where Guardians 1, you thought that was crazy. This goes really out there. The opening scene, like opening with them fighting a space monster, you know, like, and not even like a humanoid monster, like fucking octopus squid type thing. You know, Marvel have gone from this Iron Man movie about this guy with a robot suit fighting another robot guy.
So simple.
To this space-faring thing with gods and planets with a face and alien monsters and like sovereign and like, I love that. And this is all part of the same universe.
So expansive.
You know, like, and then like, if you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing right now is fantastic.
Dude, Agents,
like,
oh my God.
You know,
S.H.I.E.L.D. is nuts.
You know what I was thinking?
To the point where I'm like, oh my God, when these worlds merge, my mind is going to explode.
I'm excited to see S.H.I.E.L.D.
Because S.H.I.E.L.D. has gotten so crazy,
I'd love to see an episode of S.H.I.E.L.D. that's
Crazy.
like, oh, we went to Missouri, some blue stuff happened, we don't know what happened and why it stopped.
That's probably going to happen.
That would be so great.
They have to deal with it.
Like, you have no idea why it happened.
Deal with it. I feel like give it a month, they're going to deal with it. They have to.
Yeah,
I love
so
that.
unformulated.
And if you guys aren't soaking everything Marvel, you should watch the TV shows, watch all the movies, because it pays off. If you're dedicated, like, it's fun. Like, I know someone who watched the second Guardians film and hasn't seen the first one. Wow. And I think the second one does hold on its own.
It's definitely a good standalone
It is a good standalone film. But it's so much better if you know
because it's different.
Yeah.
This is so unformulaic. I was telling this to my friend the other day. I was like, that's the most unformulaic Marvel movie that has been made thus far.
Definitely.
Yes.
Like, nothing about it is was what I expected.
Yes.
Like, when I saw it, I was like, this is not what I expected.
And I like that they didn't just copy the first movie, because that's what, sequelitis, as they call it. Sequelitis,
they just took
the sophomore slump where you try to copy the first film.
Just went totally
and I also
left.
like that, like, if you take out every comic book aspect of it, like, if you take out space, if you take out, all the fighting and the fight scenes and all that other stuff, and look at it only for a character-driven story, it's really well done. It's a beautiful tragedy.
I thought splitting them up was like the best.
Like, it is a beautiful tragedy.
Yeah.
Someone said to me they didn't like that they split up. I'm like, no, because the first film, circumstance brought them together.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Now the second film, they had to bring themselves to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
They had to find each other to realize, I want to be family with you, so I'm going to go out of my way to bring myself to find you.
Like, dude, to the point where I kind of want to do like another little segment of just only the characters' stories, like where their
story
went.
arcs are
just
great.
because I feel like for some people, like like speaking to people, like, people might judge it on some, like, it wasn't as fun as the first one, or like, they might have their reserves.
For the most part.
Yeah, but I feel like if you break every individual story or every individual character's journey down, it's insane. Like, look at any one individual character in one film and the arc that they had. It's nuts. Like, Look at Baby Groot alone. You know what I'm saying? Look at Baby
And
Groot's
his
journey.
arc, yeah.
His arc is crazy. Raccoon Story is crazy. Fucking
not
everyone.
a raccoon.
Rocket and Yondu.
I'm not a baboon.
Yondu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Peter's story
Nebula.
is insane.
And not just
Peter has like one of the most tragic stories of them all. You went your whole life thinking that you were an orphan to end up finding out you have two fathers and then they both died in the same day. 10 minutes apart from one another.
one of
And
them
they're both
killed.
your fault.
And then again,
one
all
you
of
killed
these-
and the other is dead because of you. So
Exactly.
like, you know what I'm saying? It's like regardless
not
of how
just-
like fun it might be on the surface, when you really look at just what the story is, it's like, oh shit.
And not just their character arcs, their character relationships with each other. You know,
Exactly.
like
They all grow.
They
It
don't
all
go
grows.
deep into their background, but they go into who they are now. Like you see, you have
But I
Drax
feel like-
Atlantis, you had Gamora and Nebula, you had Yondu and Rocket.
Exactly.
You know, like the relationships with each other.
And I feel like that's the key, you know?
Yeah,
like,
and that's what makes the movie great. A lot of I wrote in my review that the first film was like a rip roaring trip through the galaxy. This film takes time to stop and enjoy the views. There's a lot of like talking to each other. You know, I think some people don't like that. I love
It
that.
was really dialogue.
I
heavy,
love
but
that.
I love that though.
Because the dialogue was great and it was great balance
But there
between.
wasn't one line in the entire movie that was unnecessary
No.
to the progression of the plot.
No,
there wasn't
no.
one thing that was said in that movie where it was like, don't need it. For
Yeah.
at least the character.
Or any scene. Every
You know what
scene
I'm
was
saying?
important.
Every scene, every ad lib, every like little joke, you know, even every cutaway. Like it was
Yeah.
all true
And
to
there's a
what
good-
they created. And that's what I love. It's
No.
like just stay in the confines of the world you create. I feel like
Yeah.
with anything, if you're gonna make this crazy all out world, then go for it, you know? And they really did. They didn't hold back. And
None of the time
killed
felt wasted at all.
No.
yeah,
That
and I
even,
feel like
yeah. Not even like with Drax and Mantis. Like that was another one. Like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
their relationship, now they have a relationship.
Yeah.
yeah,
exactly.
Mantis's journey is crazy
You see?
too.
Yeah.
She's like the only one of her kind, you know? So it's like it's so
She was
many
an, she was
layers
an
to that film.
invited flea.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. She's an
She's
invited
not even a
flea.
pet.
I
she's
was
an
invited
invited
flea.
flea, that's
Exactly.
But yeah, we can go on about this movie.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a character one later.
this
when
is-
everybody sees it, maybe like
Spoiler
next
talk
week.
part 2.
Spoiler
Yeah.
part
Volume
No,
two.
The breakdown.
The character journey
The
is
really,
great,
really
and I think
great
it's one of the movies that keep watching it over and over again. I think Marvel have a great job with balancing multiple characters. It's just like Civil War, where if you just
And
follow,
I think it's a better movie in hindsight, though.
Yeah.
Even in the moment, I thought it was great. I loved it. But the more and more I think back
Now that you
on
think
the movie,
on it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and like even like I've had the damn soundtrack. We didn't talk about the soundtrack.
Great-
Soundtrack's
oh,
fucking amazing.
great
So the soundtrack also, if you listen to from start to finish, is crazy because you're realizing that the words within the lyrics to the songs that play in
Actually
the
makes
background
sense.
foreshadow what happens in the story later. That's insane. That's fucking flawless. Show me another
Purposely
movie that
done.
kills that shit without any original songs, by the way.
because James Gunn,
Show me.
James Gunn says
Doesn't
that
exist.
the way he works is a lot of movies.
Yeah, he thinks of the song first.
I think he listens to the
he
music
listens to
while
song,
he writes.
while he writes. He listens to
Yeah,
the music while
so
he
he
writes.
knows what song goes in every scene.
Yeah, it's not like done in post where they think of it afterwards. And he also played the music, the songs on set, so
Oh, wow.
everyone
That's
can
cool.
hear it.
That's
you know,
great.
while
I
it's
bet you
happening.
that's how Edgar writes a Baby Driver.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that. You know, Sean Gunn, you can tell he has love. This is his movie
Right.
with a hint of Marvel.
And my
You know,
last thing, the visual style is
I
insane.
love that. I love the fact that this really felt like James
This
Gunn's
is his movie.
It
and not
really
Marvel's
was. It didn't
movie,
feel like anyone else's film but
Yeah.
his.
It didn't feel like Marvel
and you
execs.
can't compare it to anything but
Exactly.
Guardians 1.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how
It doesn't feel like you have Marvel executives that are like, oh, you have to do this and you have to do that.
Yeah,
You know?
like,
doesn't
I can't
feel
even think
like-
of
yeah.
one moment where they had a callback to
Yeah.
like.
Like it
anything
doesn't
else in
feel
the
like
MCU.
Iron Man presents
Yeah.
Guardians.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't. And even Doctor
You didn't
Strange.
even hear about him.
You know what I'm saying? Even though Doctor Strange is very similar as far as like celestials, like
Mm-hmm.
and even art style, very similar, but somehow it's still completely
Completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's a completely different film. Like, you definitely understand that all of these things exist within the same worlds of each other. But at the same time,
it's-
you don't feel like it takes
Yeah.
away. Like,
I
they're
love that it
not
feels
using
singular.
Big Brother, you know? Like,
Yeah,
they're not
exactly.
using, like,
But it still
oh,
feels like part of the Marvel
Yeah.
universe.
Exactly,
at the
but it's
same
still
time.
there.
It's singular, but it's
Yeah.
part of the
It's just in a
universe.
galaxy far, far away. You know?
But not a long time ago.
Exactly, but now.
No, I love that. Like, it's a fantastic movie. I can't wait to watch it over and over again.
Yeah,
I'm going to
same
buy
here.
the Blu-ray.
I'm going again tomorrow.
100%.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to see it again too.
And
Official.
I'll probably notice more things that I didn't notice. But this is competition time. We're giving away tickets, like we mentioned earlier. This week we've teamed up with VRGoGo, the online ticket marketplace for buying and selling tickets to all live events. And the good folks at NYFC have given away 2 tickets to watch the NYFC versus Philadelphia Union at Yankee Stadium on the 14th of June. To enter, answer this question. Raven, what question do you want to ask? Give us a question about Guardians of the Galaxy.
A Guardians
fun fact
question.
Because people who listen to this podcast clearly watched the movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so-
okay.
Think of the movie and like something.
Oh, I know one question. at the end of the movie, after credits, the Sovereign leader creates a character called Adam. What is his last name? We mentioned in the podcast. It's not mentioned in the movie.
Not very true. No, it's not mentioned
but
in the
we
movie.
mentioned in the podcast. What is Adam known as? His last name? Adam what? If you guys know the answer, send us an email, entertainlinks@gmail.com. I'll put the information in the comments below. And the winner will send you 2 tickets to the event. This is going to be a 2-week long running promo because there's a lot of time. So if people don't win this week, we're trying again next week. But if someone wins, then we won't do it next week. So good luck to whoever wins this. And the question again is, what is Adam's last name? Good luck to those winners. Thank you guys for listening. This has been a long one, but it's been a great one.
Really
thank you, Raven.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos.
Always.
And thank you guys for listening to the Entertain Links Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 Spoiler Talk. My name is English Dave, and we'll speak to you guys next week where we'll be talking about King Arthur. Hopefully that movie is good. We're looking forward to that one.
I'm excited
Fingers
for
crossed.
it.
And see you later, guys. Bye.
Peace.